So here actually we can understand this practical by the analogy like two persons want to communicate with each other, right? So this by this analogy you can understand the TCP/IP socket programming. Okay. So the first step is what? That is the socket. So what is the purpose of the first step? Like suppose if you want to communicate, mean what is the purpose of TCP protocol? The purpose of TCP protocol is it allows you a reliable communication, right? Like UDP is an unreliable protocol, TCP is a reliable protocol by which you can send a stream of bytes of data from source to destination, right? So the TCP provides you a reliable communication, right? So it takes the responsibility if one of the tens of bytes of data is not received, so how to collect it and all. So that's why we can say this it here for each and every byte gets tracked, it reach destination or not in TCP protocol. Okay, so here this we can understand this concept by this example. Like suppose if you want to communicate with your friend, what is required? The required thing is mobile phone, right? Mobile phone. So first you have to decide which mobile phone uh, you will buy, either Samsung or the number of mobile phones are there in the market. So you will decide. Again, you will have to decide which SIM card, right? And you have mobile phone but don't know any kind of SIM card, you are unable to communicate with your friend, right? So another thing is required, that is a SIM card. So the what is the socket step? In the socket step, we have to decide which mobile phone you will buy from the market and which SIM card you will use for the communication. So here, but in TCP, here in the socket step, you will decide which protocol you will use in this program, either IPv4 protocol or IPv6 protocol, and how you want to do a communication, reliable or unreliable, by the TCP protocol or UDP protocol. So here in this step, you will have to decide. Second step is optional. Actually, it is for the how many client actually can connect. So the for function is required to replicate all these functions. So it is optional actually, does not require. The second step is what? A bind. Now, what is the purpose of bind? So here you bought a mobile phone and SIM card from the market. Okay, so now you have mobile phone and SIM card. But now, can you communicate with your friend? No. What you have to do, you have to bind both the thing together, like mobile phone and SIM card. It means you need to put your SIM card inside your mobile phone. So that is binding. As soon as you put your SIM card into your mobile phone, you will get one address, right? You will get one address. So similarly, here you have decided IPv4 protocol as well as TCP protocol. So in the bind function, what you have to do, you need to bind IP address and a port number. Your TCP protocol is in the session layer, right? And in the session, from the session layer only, you will get, sorry, your TCP protocol is in the transport layer. And from the transport layer only, you will get the port address. So port address and IP address, we need to bind together. So as soon as you will combine IP address and port number, that IP combination of IP address and port number, you call it as a socket. So that is called a socket. So in the bind function, we create a socket by combining IP address and port number. And we have to assign one name to that IP address, combination of IP address and port number. That name is called socket. So here, for example, S name is you have given. So in listen step, what we have to inform to this function, like for this process, the name is yes. The name is yes. So in listen, we are informing to this process, your name is yes, right? So if whenever any request get to you for the name yes, that time only you listen, right? For example, in the class, 20 students are there, and one of the student name is Ajay, and if I call Ajay, so who will listen? Only Ajay, right? If I told stand up Ajay, so that time who will get stand up? Only the Ajay, because his mother and father inform him your name is Ajay, right? And when you listen, if then someone call you Ajay, right? Similarly, what we are doing in this step, we are informing to this process if someone asks you for the request by the name S. What is S? S is a socket that you have bind here in this step, and the name we have given here, right? Yes. So if someone call you by the S, what is inside the S? IP address and port number, right? So someone send you request for this IP address and port number. That time only you listen and then accept. Okay. So after accepting, the send and receive data transmission is done in between client and the server. At the client side, you will find only one function is there, that is a socket, and directly connect you. The remaining function does not require, because server is always ready to provide service to the client, and the client need to only connect with the server, and accordingly after that can send and receive a data. So here actually three-way handshaking rule is required, while how the connection is made in between client and server by using TCP protocol, that time three-way handshaking rule is required. So each and everything is implemented mm, uh, in header files. What you have to do, you have to simply call these functions. And here again, you will find if you want to learn the socket programming, the C programming is the best to learn C socket programming. Because in Java program, you cannot understand all these steps. But in C program, you can learn all these steps. In C program, each and every step is uh, properly specified. But again, you will find this again you will find this uh, s- all these header files are easily available in Linux, right? In Windows, unable to implement and run program, it would be very difficult for you, because to get these header files is very difficult. Okay, so it is easy in Linux operating system. So in our college, Ubuntu is there. So on Ubuntu, actually, we can easily run these program. But remember, if you are trying to implement and execute this program on Windows, it will not work. Okay. So we have discussed all these steps. Now we'll see in the function, right? So the first step is what? A socket. In the socket step, you will decide which SIM card you will buy from the market, which mobile phone you will buy from the market. So actually, you have to decide. Similarly, here in the socket creation, we have to decide three things like domain, type, and protocol. So what is a domain? What is a type? And what is a protocol? Okay. So domain is what? Either AFINET or AFINET 6. AFINET is what for IPv4 and AFINET 6 is for IPv6. So how do you want to communicate? So either by using IPv4 address or IPv6 address. So if you are using IPv6, you have to write AF underscore INET 6. Okay. So as you know, the address format is different here. 32 bits are required in IPv6. 128 bits are required. So accordingly, it will reserve the space. So here we are defining IPv4 AF INET, and a type means the communication type. How do you want to communicate? By using the connection oriented or connectionless. So TCP protocol is a connection oriented and UDP protocol is a connectionless. And accordingly, TCP is reliable and UDP is unreliable. So how do you want to do communication? Either with the connection oriented. So if you want to do communication with the connection oriented, then you have to write sock underscore string. Sock underscore string for the connection oriented and sock underscore dgram for the connection less. So the first thing here we have a return that is AFINET and then sock underscore string. And the third thing is protocol. This protocol value for the internet protocol IP, which is 0. Most of the time you will find this protocol value would be the 0. This is the same number which appears on protocol field in the IP header of the packet. So actually in IPv4 protocol, in the protocol field, you will find this number. So actually how this protocol is decided based on your combination. Like you are choosing here IPv4 and TCP, obviously your communication would be the connection oriented. If you are choosing IPv4 and UDP, it would be the connection less, right? In this way. So simple, the first step, socket creation. So integer sockfd. Sockfd means what? Sockfd is a name of socket. Now here, why this integer value is there, right? If the socket is not created, it will return a minus value. So here you can check. After every function, you can check if the sockfd is less than of minus 1, you can return an error. You can display the error, right? Otherwise, if it is not a negative value, it means it is successfully, this function is executed. So that's why integer sockfd, because it return any value. Second function is again integer bind, integer sockfd. What is a sockfd? Sockfd is nothing but the socket that you have created, like combination of IPv4 and the TCP. So sockfd. Here we have not added any kind of address. Now here we will add. In the socket means a combination of IP address and port number. So in this step actually we will add the combination of IP address and port number. So you know the IP address format. The IP address is 192.168.0.11, this kind of IP address. And port number is, for example, 110 or 1011, this kind of port number, right? So we need to combine together. So which data structure is better for this integer character float? So the better one is the structure. This in the structure we can store the IP address and port number. So here in this way we have to create a structure. Constant structure socket address points to address, comma socket length and address length. In this way actually here we have to bind IP address and port number. You may think where is this structure where we have specified IP address and port number. You will come to know when once we finish all this function and we'll discuss about the program, right? So here we bind IP address and port number together by this pointer. This pointer point to the address of the socket where we have stored IP address and port number, and combining together IP address and port number, and we are giving a name that is a sock fd, and third field is required, that is the address of length. Okay, so in this way you can bind. The next step is listen. Already I told you in the listen what we have to do. We have to provide a name to this process. We need to just inform what is your name, right? We are informing to the process what is your name, right? So integer listen, integer sockfd. So what is the name of this process? That is a sockfd. And what is inside this sockfd? Inside this sockfd, there is an IP address and port number. Both are combined together. And one, so this is a socket. Integer backlog. Integer backlog, what does it mean? How many client can connect with the server? This value you will get from the integer backlog. For example, here The socket name is sockebd, for example, and the backlog is, for example, 10. 10 means a 10 client can connect with the server. Okay, so this process can listen for the 10 client. So this value represent how many client can connect, uh, wait into the queue. And once the queue is full, the client will receive the error message. So socket, bind, listen, and the next step is accept. Okay. So in accept step, what we have to do? So client send a request and the server is going to accept the request. So obviously after accepting a request, the client will send the data, server will send the data, both will send data to each other. Now the client uh, should get the IP address and port numbers. The client connected with the server, what does it mean? The client have the IP address and port number of the server, so that only the client can connect with the server, right? For example, if you want to connect with www.rcpid.ac.in, so this IP address is stored in uh, the DNS, domain name server, right? So first request goes to DNS, and from the DNS, uh, the IP address is find out and return to your computer, and then the request goes to the respective IP address. So this is the job of DNS, domain name server. Okay, so you should have the server IP address and port number. Then and only then you can send a request to the server, right? The client can send a request to the server. So when the client is sending request to the server, what the server has to do? Server has to copy the client IP address and port number, right? And after copied IP address and port number into a new name, a new socket will be created, right? So what you are doing, you get the request and you simply copied IP address and port number and assign new name to that IP address and port number. It means, what does it mean? Simply you are creating new socket for the client. You are creating a new socket for the client. So what we have to do, we have to create a new socket. See, in accept step, what we are doing, we are creating a new socket is equal to accept integer sock fd, integer sock fd, comma, struct socket address into address. Uh, Actually, we are pointing out this address and telling this into, actually this is a pointer, which point the socket address. In, and we are storing into the structure. We are giving the name that is a new socket. And third field, you know, that is address length. So whatever the address received from the client request, we are copying that address and port number into the new socket, so that whenever the server want to communicate with the client, server send the data to this new socket. What is inside this new socket? The IP address and port number of client. Okay. So the X. Mainly these are the important steps. After that, actually, what we will do, simply we will send the data to the respective IP address and port number, vice versa, client and the server. Now we'll see the algorithm. First we'll see the server and then client, because server is always ready to accept a request from the client. Okay. So we have discussed the different functions. Start, then we have to create a socket using system call. Then we need to bind a address using bind a system call. In binding, we are binding IP address and port number with this socket, and then listen to the connection using listen system call. After that, for the particular name, the system is ready to listen if any request for the particular socket, and if there is a request, then it accept the connection using accept function. After that, receive file name and transfer content of the file with the client. Okay, so server will receive the file name and then transfer whatever the contents are there to the client and then stop. This is the server side. And the client side, what we have to do, we have to start. Then we need to create a socket. In the socket, we need to add client IP address and port number, right? Then the connect. Connect the socket to the address of the server using connect system call. So we connect with the server address, server IP address and port number you should have if you want to connect with the server. So at the client side, simply they connect with the socket, the server socket. So how by send then send the file name of required file using send system call. By using send system call, send the file name, and the server will send a reply. The as per the file name, send the file. Then read the contents of the file sent by server by receive system call and then stop. So simple this two algorithm we want to implement. How we can implement? So this is the program here. I hope this program is visible to you. If this program is visible, if it is not visible to you, you can zoom out on your mobile phone, right? You can zoom one by one line and you can read this program. Okay, let me check how many students are there. Okay, 12 attendees are there. Okay. Do you acknowledge this program is visible to you? Kindly do acknowledge this program is visible to you. Are you with me? Come on. Okay. Okay, so you can easily see this program by zoom out on your mobile phone. So see the as I told you, like this ARP INET here you will find this is the internet address family like IPv4, IPv6, TCP. All these details are here. So you will find these header files are available in Linux. It is not available in. It is very difficult to get in for the Windows. So mostly you will find this kind of socket programming is done on the Linux only. So we will also implement this program in Linux. So you will find this almost you will find the program is same. The C program is same is for Windows and Linux. Only you will find some difference are there. You cannot use a gauge here and all. Okay, we'll see this program. So integer welcome, new sock, FD, and different variables are required. We will discuss in detail where these variables require. Now character buffer, when buffer is required. Because in TCP protocol, both the side you will find buffers. Whenever the data is received, the data is stored into the buffer. So here you will find the two buffers are there. And we are sending and receiving a file name, so F name, that for the file. As I told you, we use a structure to store the socket address, the IP address and port number. So we have to define a structure here for the socket address, right? And here is the first step, right? We have seen stock integer stock fd is equal to, right? So here integer welcome already we have specified at the beginning only, so that's why we have not written integer here. As well, we are not checking this function is executed properly or not. We want to check, you can here you can check, like if welcome is equal to less than or 0, then you will get then the error. In this way you can print, so that you will come to know, right, the error is there any kind of error or not. But simply here we have written welcome is equal to socket pf inet, it means IPv4. Stock stream, it means it is TCP and 0 by default, right? This 0 is added into the TCP packet format at the position of protocol field. So 0. Okay? PF inet is for IPv4, SOC stream is for TCP. If you are writing SOC DGRAM, it means for UDP. Now I told you in a bind, we need to bind IP address and port number. Both the things we need to bind, right? So here we need to specify first the family. It is IPv4 family. So AF INET IPv4 family. Accordingly, the IP address or the IPv4 address, the space is reserved and port. The space is reserved for the port. The second thing is the port address. 7891, this is a port address that we are using. So client want to connect with this port number only, so that the request received to this particular process. H turns means host to network short. So this is the port number. Suppose if you want to convert this IP address into the network address, so here you can write host to network long, because here is the long address. Okay? So S2NL, S2NS, you will find this shortcut for host, because in computer this address format is different, but while we are representing this address for the network, the address format is different. So what we have to do, we have to first convert this address for the network. That's why host to network short. So here we are converting and storing into the port. Then the IP address. So internet address assigning to this. Here, if you carefully observe what we are doing, here sock address point to and of ADDR. So socket address points to ampersand of ADDR. So ADDR. So here actually we are pointing out ADDR field. In this ADDR field, there is a port number as well as there is the internet address. So why actually 127.0.0.1 we have used? Because this is a loopback address. What is the purpose of this loopback address? Because here your client and server, both the program we will run on the same machine. We will run on the same machine. If your client program is on different machine and server program is on different machine, that time here we can specify the IP address of the server machine. But what actually we want to do, we want to run both the program on the same machine. That's why actually we have written loopback address. 127.0.1 is a loopback address. Without going packet inside a network, the packet returned to the same computer by using this loopback address. So in bind, what we are doing, we are binding both the things, IP address and port number. How? The structure socket address points to ampersand of address, ADDR, this address, and we are binding IP address and port number with the name welcome. So welcome name is assigned to this IP address and port number. And what is this welcome? The welcome is nothing but the socket. So here we have created a socket. Third field is size of address, right? So socket is created. So the name, we have given name to this process, that is welcome. Okay. So any request receive for the welcome, that time only he listen, right? So when if a client sending a request to the welcome, the process name welcome, that time only he listen. What does the five? Five is for how many client can connect with the server. So five means the five client can connect with the server, right? And the next step is accept. Next step is what? Accept. Socket, find, listen, accept. In accept, what we have to do? We have to create a new socket. And in new socket, we are adding the client IP address and the port number, right? Into the new socket. And whenever we want to send the data, we will send to the new socket. So we are receiving the request from the new socket. So why we have written null here? Because earlier we have seen the code like structure, socket address, point to ampersand of address, size of address, right? Blah blah blah. This kind of code we have seen. But why actually null is written? Because I told you where client program and server program both on the same machine. That's why actually we have written null here because the same socket we are using for the sending and the receiving. Okay. So after listening, as I suppose the analogy that we have considered earlier during a phone call. So now you bind it together, you got the name. It means you insert your SIM card into your mobile phone. Now you're able to see the tower. It means the service provider turn on your service. Now you can able to call. So you call to this someone. So you call. So obviously who will speak first? You only, right? So the server is always ready to receive a request or provide a service. So client is sending a request. So obviously the client will send a data. So that's why at the first step is we will receive a data. So we will receive a file name. So we are receiving file name from the socket new socket, right? We are receiving file from new socket. Then the file name. Then the size. As we have here initialized, size is 50 and 0. 0 is nothing but the sequence. So print requesting for the file f name. What we did here, simply we have printed file name. Whatever the file name which is received, we have printed here. Like this file name is requested, right? Now here file, simply we are using file. Already you have implemented file program. fd is equals to open f name, right? So we are opening a file, and if fd is less than 0, then send a new socket file not found. So the size of this 15, so 15 and 0, the sequence number 0. If the file is not there, the file is not there, it will send the file is not found. If the file is there, obviously you will not get it will not return minus value. It will return some positive value. So that time while n is equal to read fd buffer size of buffer greater than 0, send to new socket. Whatever inside in the buffer, it will send. And obviously we don't know the size. So n comma 0. Then printf request send. So whatever the file asked by the client, that file sent to the client and they close the connection. So this is a simple program for the server side and for the client side. So the client side, that you will find almost this. Once you implement the server program, you will find similar program in the client side. You no need to make write again the same code, or you need no need to remember the other code. Simply you have to prepare one program, you will get another program free. Right? It is very simple. See the header file the same way here soft and the same program you could see here structure also we have specified here. We have created socket. Already we have discussed it is for IPv4 TCP. 0 is by default value to put inside a packet format at the place of protocol field. then AF IPv4, host to network short, internet address, same loopback address we are using here. Then while connect, we are making a connection here, right? So here, like at this place, we have written a name at the server side, welcome. But here the name is socket, so SOC, right? Structure, socket address, point to address, size of address. So actually here we want to connect, and what is here inside this, the same IP address and port number, right? Same IP address and port number. That's why that place we have put it null over there, because same value we are using. And okay, so client is connected to a server. After this step, we'll simply print client is connected to server, enter a file name. So whatever the file name you have put it here, the same file name scan, and we need to send the file name to the server. So send SOC, the own socket address we need to send, file name we need to send, and size of file name, and the sequence number 0. So printf received a response. So after that, we have simply printed yes. But after you send, obviously it will receive to the server. We assumed and printed here received a response. Then what we have to do, we have to receive a data from the server. So while n, now we need to receive a data. So we have put it this code into the while loop. While n is equal to receive socket buffer, size of buffer comma 0, greater than 0, right? If it is greater than 0, we will whatever data is received, we will simply print whatever data inside the buffer. We will simply print and then return 0. So in this way, very simple program at the client side, and you will, when you will execute this program, so you need to execute this program in Ubuntu. So in the next practical, actually, I will go to the college, because now the time is not available to execute this program and to explain it all. So in the next practical, I will go to the college and execute this program over there, and I will show you how you can able to send and receive a file. Okay. So in Ubuntu, you know how to execute the program. We need to use this command gcc server.c, right? In this way, after that, here we compile the program, and here we have executed the program, waiting for request, right? Request send in this way, and here you will find receiver response, sample data here, right? And in this way, this you will get the output. So after execution, you will get this kind of output for this program. Okay. So I hope now the time is over. So we need to stop here. So did you understand today's practical? Do acknowledge into the chat box.